So this week we have Anderson Cooper, and you know what, I kind of been intrigued with him, but I've never really researched him. Isn't that odd? It's like, I don't know, when I see him, he's just interesting to me for some reason. Just his energy grabs me. So taking a look at his chart finally, I can see why. Because he's a journalist. He's more of the shock and awe journalist. You know, the ones that are dealing with like the raw core current affairs. They go overseas in the midst of like bombings and, you know, things that are going down the tubes that aren't great, and they're just risque reporters. So I admire him for that for sure. But he's got a lot of humanitarian energy, so I think he really wants to right the wrong, so he's very passionate about it. And he is the number of the heart. His path is the 32-5, which is the number of the heart and emotions, so he's very passionate. And he's got the natural counselor as his how. So humanitarian is his gift, the 9. The how is the even-keeled natural counselor, so giving advice, wisdom, and then he's a 5 as well. So it's again the same story in a lot of ways. So there's that love and compassion, but there's also that ability to give sound advice. It just kind of rolls off the tongue. But here's the but. He's ultra smart. This kid is like super smart. I call everybody kid. He's older than me, but you know, he's like off, nothing gets past him. He's like off the hook, crazy brilliant. But he has no soul plane numbers. He has the 3 double 6s and a 9 on the mind plane. So he's like chock full. But in the middle, nothing. And on the bottom, he has a 1 in this corner and a 7 in the other corner. But they're trapped. There's no other numbers around them, which means his communication, verbal self-expression of his emotions doesn't happen. All those ideas that he has, incredible amounts of ideas, they get lost in translation. It's like, what happened? It didn't work out the way that I saw it to be in my mind. It's like more roadblocks, stumbling blocks, and all that jazz, because there's no connection straight through the 3 planes. Because you have to think it, feel it, do it to make it happen, right? So he's got to be more vulnerable. And I think he just came out as a gay man, so I think he's opening. I think, you know, that's just a natural occurrence as we get older too. More mature, we tend to be more open. So I think he's got to be a lot more conscious of that. And so maybe if he happens to catch his name and his people show him the video, hopefully he understands that you got to be vulnerable, Anderson. You've got to, you know, risk it. You got to put your heart on the line. That's the only way. There's no shortcut. So this personal year for you is really about that, because you're dead in the water with that pure 2 year. You're just like, no action, because it's all in here. It's all meant to open the floodgates for you, because it's time to connect the dots. So that's what you're doing. And you're in a peak of 17-8, which is manifestation, but it's contemplative manifestation. So it's not just haphazard, it's thought out, it's felt out, it's resonating, it's, you know, all that stuff. So you're going to be doing a lot of work. It's just not on the outside, but a lot. Remember, vulnerability. He's a Gemini, so I'm going to have to say that a few times to him probably. And he's got an isolated 1 and an isolated 7, I have to say that. Because 1 is the verbal expression, self-expression number, so he has a hard time talking about his emotions and his feelings. So if I said to him, Anderson, you know, how are you feeling today? What's going on? What's really happening? You know, it got really deep with him. He wouldn't necessarily give me all of it, but if I said, write me an email or a letter, it's like, there's all of Anderson right there. It's like, it all comes out. And then he has a 7, which is isolated, and 7 is hindsight learning when it's trapped. So he's been through his fair share of live and learn, notches on his belt. So he's a good guy. I mean, he's definitely, I don't know, there's something intriguing about him. He's going to be 51, so I want to say happy birthday to Anderson Cooper. 51, you're looking sharp for 51, I have to say. So tune in again next week, and we'll have another cool celebrity spotlight here on LotteryUSA.com.